Welcome to my video channel. My name is Stephen Hewer. I'm a degreed nutritionist called a naturopath. I've been in private practice over 30 years. Today's topic that I want to introduce you to or elaborate on that you might already know about somewhat is the topic of minerals, in particular trace minerals. So this is a hot topic and it has been for decades in my field. The great Dr. Joel Wallach popularized it with his audio cassette back in the 90s called Dead Doctors Don't Lie, in which he showed the rate at which doctors die on average was like 55 years of age. He used to spend time going through the obituaries and doing that research and finding out what early ages they all died at, indicating that if you're going to get advice on the subject of health, you want to get it from somebody who's actually successfully attained health and has lived a long life on a regular basis. And apparently that's not medical doctors, at least in the past. They have been very ignorant on the subject of the causes of disease, and so therefore they treat symptoms with medication, drugs that are toxic to the body. But the body, of course, is designed by the magnificent creator we call God, and that our bodies are designed to live in harmony with nature. And since we have derailed our agricultural system worldwide from traditional agricultural practices where foods are grown on fertile soil, because there's soil fertility practices that have been practiced for generations where manure is added to the soil, green crops are grown, they're tilled into the ground, and the bacteria counts continue to grow within the soils, which actually metabolize the minerals in the soil and make them available to the root hairs of the plant root system so that the plants become the most healthiest they can be and therefore the most nutrient dense. Unfortunately, that's no longer practiced. Ever since 1945, at least in the United States of America, chemical agriculture took over, which meant that all of the petroleum-based chemicals have been used to fertilize crops in only a limited manner. So the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, the three main nutrients that have been discovered to cause plants to grow that look like they're growing well, doesn't account for the trace elements, doesn't account for the macro minerals, doesn't account for the fact that the chemical fertilizers cause an acidification to the soil. They kill off the microbial life in the soil that's key to metabolizing the minerals and actually working symbiotically with the root system of the plant to feed it those minerals, to feed it those nutrients. The dying process of those bacteria give another source of nitrogen and nutrients to the plant system for the plant to grow. And so it took about 10 years for the soils in the United States of America under chemical agricultural practices to become demineralized and infertile. And when you actually use chemical fertilizers, you end up creating chemical imbalances in the plant that attract insects to attack it. So when you use chemical fertilizers, you create two chemical and or biochemical imbalances in the plant. One is you start to produce more free sugars in their single monosaccharide form instead of the polysaccharide starch and or complex sugar. The other is free amino acids. Instead of having an abundance of protein structures and peptide structures within the plant, you're producing higher abundance of the individual free amino acids. And these two things cause a plant to have a sick chemistry that attracts insects to attack it, because it's actually been proven that when a plant is robustly healthy, when it's grown properly, and it has its high mineral sugar content, its high polysaccharide content, its high protein peptide content, that an insect is not attracted to it. So nature is designed by the creator to remove from the ability to reproduce itself all the weak systems that are out there, whether that's plant, animal, or human. And so the plants are being destroyed by the insects because insects are there to remove their ability to reproduce because they're genetically already weak from how they've been grown. And as you can assume, that genetic weakness will pass on to humans if that's the food source, if the foods that you're consuming are grown on these kinds of soils and or the animals are grazing on grasses grown on infertile soil, then you'll end up with foods, dairy products, meat products, and plant products that are all deficient, which end up causing nutritional and genetic defects in the next generation and or diseases in the current generation. So minerals play a very, very important role in our health. And one of the examples of a robustly healthy culture, perhaps the healthiest culture on the planet, is the group of people in the Pakistan, Turkey area that are called the Hunzas. And the Hunzas have been known to live to be 120 to 140 years of age, free of all disease. Men are known to be playing rugby after the age of 100. They're also known to sire children after the age of 100. And what they have that's unique for them is that the water that they use to irrigate their fields and also to drink is water that's coming from glacial snowmelt. So in the mountains in which they live, when glaciers are, on the surface of these mountain sides, they'll be grinding the rocky surface of the mountains into a silt. So as these glaciers melt, they pick up this mineral silt and carry it into the rivers, and they've got a massive river that comes into their area that they derive their drinking water from, and they use for irrigating their fields. And this water, this river water, is so rich in minerals that you can't even see through it. It's a gray-white color. They call it glacial milk. And they drink this, and this is full of the trace elements. It's full of the macro minerals like calcium, and they thrive, and they have this robust level of health. They don't have, any genetic defects in their culture. They're, not using vaccines, and they're free of all disease. So immunity and robust health foundationally comes from our diets. And since our diets are no longer in America having the proper nutrient levels for decades now, so it's important that we supplement. But before I get into that, I want to just express a little more emphasis on the subject of how important the minerals are for our bodies. So one of the roles minerals play is to make metabolic enzymes. That's a mineral combining with a protein, and then the metabolic enzyme is a catalyst for a chemical reaction within the body. And since our bodies are run on these metabolic enzymes, whether that's energy production, whether that's waste elimination, whether that's immunity, whether that's neurotransmitter production, all aspects of our body run on metabolic enzymes. Trace minerals are a part of that. And it's interesting, some of the trace elements like yttrium and others that they've done studies on that are very rare trace elements, praseodymium, yttrium, and a few others, have been shown in animal studies to double their lifespan. So that's another reason why you're going to want to supplement your diet with trace elements, because of the effect it's had on animals to increase lifespan. Before I get into introducing you to the product that I want to introduce you to, I want to just talk about a book that I read years ago called Minerals for the Genetic Code by Charles Walters and Dr. Ulrey. And basically in here they make the case that all the evidence supports that the 64 codons on the human DNA, which I'll take a brief moment to show you in this video, so here it is. So these codons, they theorize, are actually supposed to be activated by 64 trace minerals. So the 64 codons are supposed to be activated by 64 trace minerals in the diet on a daily basis for the genetic code to express the proper protein synthesis within the cell on a regular basis, moment to moment. So, we're talking about telomerase enzyme production within the cell, which, is able to maintain the length of the telomeres, and the telomeres determine how long this cell will live. The longer the telomeres are, the more cell division a cell has, and the longer the cells will live, the longer your body will live. So as I said, they maintain that based on all the evidence, even though it's not proven scientifically, that our codons are supposed to be activated by 64 individual trace minerals on a regular basis in order for our cells to express all of the capacity of the protein synthesis that they're capable of for maintaining the biological youthfulness and fully functioning capacity within the cell. Having said that, I have for years taken different mineral supplements to enhance my health. I've introduced them to my clients over the years. There are a number of products on the market that have efficacy, and they all vary a little bit in how they function. There's ionic minerals from like the Great Salt Lake. I find those to be the least effective in terms of participating in metabolic enzyme production. They have some merit with regards to electrolytic activity in the body, with the conduction of nerve impulses or electrical impulses in the body that's of merit. But overall, I find that that's the least effective trace mineral supplement to consume. There's also the colloidal mineral products on the market that come from humic shale deposits in the United States and elsewhere that also have merit, and sometimes they do a water extraction, sometimes they do an acid extraction, and the acid extraction would make that liquid mineral colloidal product very acidic and very unpleasant to taste, but nonetheless have merit. If you dilute it enough, there's some merit to it. Of late, several months back, I was exploring the subject and got introduced to and found out about something called CLE Mineral Drops from CLE Holistic Health. So the company CLE Holistic Health has their own humic shale deposit in the eastern United States that they use to derive their trace mineral supplement from. And it's interesting because all the other products on the market, or I should say all the humic shield deposit derived colloidal mineral supplements in their liquid state, are sold like as a 32-ounce bottle because they want you to take like an ounce a day minimum, which is like 2 tablespoons. And I think that's even twice a day in the beginning to build up your mineral levels for a while and then go back down to the 2 tablespoons a day. Here, this little bottle, not close to 32 ounces, this is only 1 ounce or 30 milliliters, is being offered as the way to mineralize your body. If you hear noise in the background regarding the chainsaw, it's because I've got some workers outside taking down a tree. That's all that is. Everything's fine. Anyways, this trace mineral product, I took only a dropper full, and within a short period of time, I noticed a significant increase in mental and physical energy, such that it was exceeding the results that I'd achieved on all the other liquid colloidal mineral products that I'd tried in the past. So I took time to study this product a little more in detail and found out that it has amino acids, peptides, all the trace minerals, over 70 trace minerals. It has humic and fulvic acids, and these humic and fulvic acids contribute to the improved absorption of the minerals. Because these minerals are from decomposed vegetation that's been decomposing for eons of time, they are in their smallest state and the most bioavailable state because they've gone through the plant physiology first, which makes them the most bioavailable to the human body. So the bioavailability and the absorbability of the trace minerals in this product is profound, and the humic and fulvic acids that are in it are contributing to beneficial biochemical pathways in the body working better mineral absorption, and the peptides or amino acids that are in it make it more like a food mineral supplement that is profound. So with this tiny little bottle, you're able to experience potentially more energy, stamina, endurance, muscle cell repair, better mental clarity, deeper, more restful sleep, better cellular oxygenation, healthier looking skin and hair, and optimal bone density and strength. This CLE Mineral Drops is an excellent mineral supplement to include in your supplement program and in your diet because you need so little to get such great results. A dropper full a day, or even 10 drops a day, they say, which is half a dropper full. I personally do 20 drops a day, and that would be a 30-day supply. But at 10 drops a day, it's a 2-month supply if that's able to effect the results you're looking for. I thank you for your time and attention.